Hello friends, and welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Today is the day we've all been waiting for, at least some of you and me. We are going to plant the deck boxes here on the back patio. This is always such a fun project to do every spring, filling these raised beds on the deck with gorgeous annuals that will bring us loads and loads of color throughout the entire summer and make the pollinators very happy. There were two components that I really took into consideration when I was choosing the plants for this space. One, design. Two, high performing but very low maintenance. So I am going to walk you through the design choices, why I chose certain plants, not necessarily for their color, but because of the structure and what this space is requiring of me and of the plants, because as my landscape matures, the needs of this deck box change. So let's talk about that. Several years ago, like 5 or 6 years ago, I don't remember exactly, Jerry and I got the idea to own our deck portion of the backyard, our back porch, was to create these raised beds. So essentially they're in an L-shaped right here off of the patio. You can see everything that is going on. So we've got a side that faces the patio, and then we have got a side that goes down the house along the creek bank. And this is a full sun area. When we first got the deck boxes and we built them, my daddy custom built them for us, our landscape was very new and our shrubs were small. However, a little thing happens over the years. Those shrubs grow bigger, and so my design has to change with the landscape. We have to be a student of our own garden. As our gardens change, so do the needs. Right here on this specific side, I have got a Rose of Sharon. This is a blue chiffon standard, right? And so you can see it is big and it is beautiful, and it is only going to continue to grow throughout the season. So it hides a good portion of the deck box, at least from this perspective. And then I have the two Desdemona roses from David Alston. They were planted at different times, so baby Desdi is catching up with big sister, but they are going to continue to grow. I have just recently pruned them because they are at the end of their bloom cycle. And specifically the one on the left, the more mature one, she will get up pretty high, almost to the top of the deck boxes. And then as we come around to the creek side of the decks, you can see that the Scentlandia, yes, very, very vigorous shrub, very happy. Everybody in this bed is quite happy. The salvias, the phlox, the veronicas, they are all doing great. But when I first had this landscape, it was very small, and so I could do tons of trailing annuals off the side, because right here specifically on this side, these boxes are really about 5 to 6 feet off the ground, so I could have tons of trailing plants. As the shrubs grow, I do not need those long trailing plants. I also have liatris back here, right? So I've got beautiful perennial liatris. So I do not need to have those trailing plants because they get tangled up. And if you're a person that has long hair, it is not fun to get tangles out of your hair. It is not fun to get tangles out of the shrubs with the plants. So because I do not need a lot of trailing plants to give me interest hanging off the deck boxes, because my shrubs below are giving me that interest, I am going with vertical and mounding annuals in the deck boxes this year. I do have two that will slightly trail spill over. They are not vigorous in any shape, fashion, or form. And so I am going for that mounded vertical interest that really kind of peaks up above the shrubs. So this is why it's so important to be a student of your own garden and look at how does your garden change? What do you need in that specific space? Because if I did not have the shrubs underneath here, or they were baby shrubs like they were several years ago, then I planted completely different. I have used tons of like super petunias and dichondra silver falls and sweet potato vines and all of those beautiful lush trailing plants. And it was really hard for me because I was like, maybe I could put in a petunia, do this. And I was like, nope, we're not going to do a petunia. So we're really going for the mounded vertical. Now, I do have those two that are kind of spillers. So let me show you the plant selection and idea of the colors that we're going to be using in this space. I have laid out the plants in kind of their role in this space. So the one good spiller that we're going to have is a brand new Super Bell coming from Proven Winners. It will be available next year. It is a 2027 new introduction. It is the Super Bell's Double Midnight Magenta. Y'all, is that not the prettiest plant you ever did see? Now, it is a Super Bell, and Super Bells for me tend to be way less vigorous as far as their trailing compared to a petunia. Even a mini vista, they're not going to trail in my garden as much as a mini vista. So these are gorgeous. I have them also in another container, but they get a little, I think, not quite enough sun, so they're getting a little leggy. So this is a way for me to test them out in a full sun space to see exactly how they do. I have to put Super Bells into containers because of my clay soil. Super Bells hate to have wet feet. They should, by all accounts, do magnificently well here. Then we're going to go with lemon coral sedum. Now this is may not be what you think of as a trailer, but it will spill over just a little bit. You can see how it's doing it in its nursery pot. So these two right here, that is going to be my trailers, and that is it. Then we're going to go with the angel wings. This looks like maybe a lamb's ear, has that beautiful silvery foliage to it. It is an annual. It will get that nice mounded habit, a beautiful pop of color that is a complete total contrast. Foliage only plant. It too hates to have wet feet, but loves the full sun. So it will do really well here. And then because I am a southern girl, I have got to have caladiums. So we have got, this is the Heart to Heart series from Proven Winners, and this is White Star. White Star can do sun or shade, and it gives me the white, the green, and the pink all in there together. Beautiful mounded habit, and so you just can't go wrong with caladiums. They are absolutely unbelievable. Then I have the last of my Outshine Orchid. This is a new salvia from Proven Winners. Again, it will be a 2027 introduction. So Outshine Orchid, we've used this a couple of places in the garden. So these last three will go here. This is a type of Salvia Gregii. It is a beautiful shade of pink. The pollinators love it. It will get to be about 1 foot to 2 feet tall. Kind of has a little bit of an airy habit to it. So I love this Outshine Orchid. Vertical interest. We are going with Angel Face White. This is that Angelonia from Proven Winners. Angelonias do really, really well with my heat and humidity. Beautiful, pure white flowers. Looks like a snapdragon. Upright, doesn't need a lot of deadheading, and like I said, thrives in the heat and the humidity. It will be about 18 to 30 inches tall. So it is going to be my tallest in this space. And then you got to have some blue, my friends. Blue salvia. So this is the Unplugged So Blue. I love Unplugged So Blue. I have it in multiple areas of my garden. But again, I love having blue in my garden space. This is going to be 14 to 24 inches tall. Unplugged So Blue is actually, if we can see, if you will take a little gander over there on the pathway, we have the Unplugged So Blue there as well. So we're tying in the whole space together. And then last but certainly not least is the Carolee Petite Pink Guara. I love guara. For me, it's actually going to be a perennial. The Carolee Petite Pink is going to be 14 to 20 inches tall. Very light, airy habit to it. I will say bless their hearts, these little guys are struggling, so they are going to be really, really happy to get out of their nursery pots and into the quote landscape. But look at this, you have got that beautiful pink flower. It has, you can see that the darker flowers on them, so you get a little bit of a color variation, but I absolutely love these plants. So I said that there were two main factors on the plants that I chose, the design and then the performance but low maintenance aspect of these plants. All of these plants are no fuss plants. The only ones that may require a little bit of attention could be the super bells. Maybe if they start to get long, I give them a haircut. I'm looking at like once, maybe twice in the season on that. Then the Angelonia, that angel face white, again, once those stalks will bloom all the way up, then I can go in and deadhead it. Again, talking about maybe once a month here. And guara, kind of the same thing. Life is very full right now, my friends. Just going to be honest with you. I do not have time for high maintenance, fussy plants. It is, I can't do it. I cannot take care and manage one more thing in my life. And these plants are going to manage themselves. Speaking of managing themselves, there is drip irrigation in here. So it has been running because it's also, this is the same zone that our hanging baskets on the front porch are on. So once I get them planted, watered in, the irrigation comes on once a day for I think like 15 minutes. They are going to be super, super happy. So to set these babies up for success, which is very, very key, let's talk about the fundamentals of getting them ready so they have a great hospitable home that takes a lot less pressure off of me to maintain them and fuss over them. So obviously you want to start with really high quality potting soil. This is a blend of potting soil, compost, has some pine bark fines in there, and so it's well draining, but yet it retains moisture at the same time. I know it sounds like an oxymoron, but it is true. So this does not stay soaking wet. So like I said, the irrigation has been on, but you can see that it's damp, but it is not a soggy mess. So that is what we want. Drip irrigation, you can see there's two lines that run through there. As I plant the plants, I will adjust that to see exactly where I need that. And then, of course, we're going to use the great fertilizers. We will use our Biotone Starter Plus. I have a hole in my bag, so that's why it's in a bucket. So the Biotone Starter Plus, and then the Proven Winners Continuous Release Plant Food. All of that's going to go in before I actually put the plants in. I just find it easier to sprinkle it in the soil and then plant the plants in, and all is well. And then last, once everybody is in their new home, they're going to get a nice little blanket of compost. Y'all, use whatever compost you like. If you've got compost, that's great because it adds nutrition to the soil. Nice, slow way to feed your plants. It retains your moisture. It helps prevent some weeds from going in there. It makes it look pretty. The plants will be really happy, and it will help hide my irrigation. If you can't find land and sea, use whichever compost you love. Go to your local garden center, say, what do you recommend? Go with those recommendations, and there you go. I have a general idea of how these plants are going to be laid out, but not specifically. So we're going to do this. We're going to set the camera up, and I am going to go ahead and lay them out, plant them, and I'll meet you back here in just a second. I think it's easier to see the plants when they're in their pots as opposed to when they're planted. So from a design perspective, I want to show you what I did. Even though these are all annuals, we still have some that have different roles, right? So my angel face white is going to be my tallest. So I started with those. Those are the bones of the bed because they're the biggest. So my angel face, my unplugged so blue salvia, my Carolee petite pink, those are my vertical interest and they are the tallest. So I went through and tried to evenly, quote, space them. This is not by any means a matchy bed because you've got to remember, I am planting this thick and full. That is what I do in this space. So very soon we're not going to see any soil, we're just going to see structure and plants. So I evenly spaced them. I have one angel face dead center behind the Rose of Sharon. Then on each side of that, I tried to balance them out and give one evenly spaced again. Then on the corner, I went ahead and anchored that space with the angel face white. And then coming on down, I did the same thing. So I've got 3 on this side, evenly spaced out. Then next I went in with the salvia. So the salvia is throughout here. I've got 2 on the Creekside and I have got 2 on the patio side. Again, I wanted to balance those. So I evenly spaced the blue salvia, same distance from my angel face white. Next, the guara. I did last minute go back in and add 2 guara. So right here it is, quote, even. So we have the angel face, the guara, and then the salvia right in there. And then the guara I went in there and tucked. So I have one on the corner. Then I have one coming around on the side. I went ahead and split it. So I have the angel face white, and then on each side of that, I did a guara there. And then coming on down, I did 3 more total because the Creekside is longer. So we filled in with that. And then I came in with the fillers, right? So I only have 3 of the salvias. So I did 1 on, let me see, nope, I did. Okay, sorry. So I did 2 on the bigger side, makes sense, right? And then 1 on the patio side, dead center, right there in front of the angel face white. And just filling in, y'all, right? Coming in and then did the same thing kind of like with my double midnight magentas. I'm going to beef them up and put 2 containers together. So when you're on the patio, you're going to see them. They're going to spill over and be beautiful against those Desdemona roses. So I wanted those to be even on each side of the Rose of Sharon, because not only do you see it from the deck box, but you see it from the patio, you see it from the backyard. So I want it to make sense design-wise on the other side as well. So we've got spaced out evenly there, and then I knew that I wanted to have them in the corner. So I did 2 in the corner, so that way you'll see it from both sides, whether it's the patio or the backyard. And then I had 2 of the magentas left over, so I kind of evenly spaced them so they will spill over here on the deck side. Kind of the same thing with the lemon coral and the angel wings. Just getting everybody spaced in there with the caladiums. Those are spaced out, get nice and big and mounded. And you will notice that when I first started putting them out, I had everybody in a straight line. They are no longer in a straight line. They're back and forth. Some of them are in the middle. Some of them are on the edge. Some of them are dead center. It just depends on kind of the room that I needed and then the plant. So like, for example, this corner right here. So we're gonna have that angel face is gonna get nice and tall, and then we're gonna be surrounded with the mounding of the caladium, the mounding of the superbell, and then that lemon coral there on the side. The guara will be reaching out as well. And so just kind of thinking about how can I fill in, how can I add these plants, and then moving them back and forth within the bed so that the spacing also makes sense right here. We are totally ignoring minimum spacing. So if you like to do minimum spacing, This may give you a heart attack, and that's okay, my friends, because again, I want this full and lush. This container is completely filled with soil. It is on drip irrigation. I've got beautiful fertilizer in there, so everybody is going to respond really, really well. Now is, quote, the easy part. I'm going to get my hory. I am just going to make a hole and plop those babies in and then come back through. If I need to tuck down my drip tubing, I certainly can do that with some landscape staples. They're just like metal hooks, and you just stick them in there and it holds it down. And then everybody's going to get top dressed with that land and sea. So when you see the final result, you're going to see beautiful flowers, a nice layer of nice rich compost. You're not going to see any drip tubing, and then of course we're going to get everybody really well watered in so they can start growing, blooming, and thriving here in their new home. All right, my friends, so the deck boxes, they are planted. They have been top dressed with compost and they have been watered in, and I am absolutely in love with this space. Completely different design choice than what I have done in the past, but you know what? As your garden changes, sometimes the design has to change as well. The new Calibrachoas, they are just electric in color. I cannot wait for y'all to see these in person. So incredibly beautiful, and they're going to be complemented so nicely with those caladiums. And then having the vertical interest of the angel face white. Oh my goodness, it is going to be so, so pretty. Remember, this is a blue chiffon rose of Sharon. Look at that. The bees are already coming. So it's going to be a nice little different blue shade compared to the Unplugged So Blue Salvia, but it's all going to complement each other so nicely. And the angel wings with that just almost pure white. I know it's silver, but it gives a bit of a white look to it, is gorgeous. And having those Calibrachoas spill over just enough to soften the edges is going to be so incredibly beautiful. And everybody is going to fill in. It is not going to be long, probably just a couple of weeks, and you're going to see massive growth in these boxes with these plants. They're going to go all summer long, and this whole bed is going to develop because sometimes those annuals, different ones will shine at different parts of the season. So even though these are all annuals in here, the bed will kind of change and evolve. I've seen it happen many times before, and it's really fun to see not even removing plants, but just how the different plants will peak at different times, and it just really changes the whole look of it. So this is going to be really fun. I will keep you updated, of course, on how how these boxes develop. It is not going to be long, and we're going to be back over here doing you an update to see how beautiful and thick and lush and fantastic these are. Now, I have to tell you this. I wish that there was such a thing as smell-o-vision, because the entire time that I have been working up here on the back porch in the deck boxes, I have been blessed with the most heavenly fragrance of gardenias. The Diamond Spire gardenias from Southern Living Plant Collection, they are in full bloom. They are in all of their glory, and their perfume is going throughout this entire garden. I was by the garage the other day, and I got a whiff of them. It's on the other side of the house, but I could still smell them. I love gardenias, and I adore the Diamond Spire gardenia right here at the foot of the steps. Diamond Spire gardenia is really unique in that it tends to be a more upright habit to it. It will be about 4 feet tall, 2 feet wide, and it produces these single blooms that are a lovely white classic gardenia single bloom with the most heavenly fragrance ever. So if you're interested in a Diamond Spire, you got to be in zones 7 to 10. If you're in a cooler zone, these would do really well in a nice big container. So you can bring them out during the summer, during those warmer months, and then during the winter, you can put it in, say, your garage, or bring it into your house, or if you have a greenhouse, or, you know, some place that is nice and protected, then you're going to get these massive, beautiful, fragrant blooms throughout the entire summer season long. I am a huge fan of gardenias. They are without a doubt my favorite flower. But I even say with Diamond Spire that even if it didn't bloom, because of its unique foliage, it is dark, it is glossy, it's like a little thumbprint. It is a beautiful foliage. Love this. Now, I have never pruned my gardenias. This is going to be the year that I am going to prune the Diamond Spire. Gardenias bloom on old growth. That means that they have produced their blooms last fall. And so if you were to prune your gardenias in the fall, winter, early spring, before they bloom, then you've cut off all of your flowers. This is why we wait until they bloom, and then once the big heavy bloom is over, then we're going to come in and shape it. Like I said, they've been in here, gosh, probably 4 or 5 years, have never pruned them. It is definitely time to do it just to give them some shape. We're going to shape them up a little bit. I'll take you along for the ride when I do that. But right now they're covered in flowers, so we are not going to mess with these gorgeous Diamond Spire gardenias. Love it. So we will keep you updated. Speaking of updates, let's talk about the annuals right quick, and then we're going to wrap this thing up. Look at those Supertunia Vista Cool Jazz, y'all. They have found their roots. They are happy. The Violet Night Sweet Alyssum has found its roots and doing really well, along with the Senorita Rosalita Cleome. So everything here is just lush and happy and gorgeous. The clematis is blooming. The roses, they're kind of on their way out from their big spring flush, but that's all right. We enjoyed them while they were here. And then the 2 urns, they are just showing off without a doubt. Beautiful purple colors in all the different shades. Love these guys. And then, my friends, it is not going to be long. Look at all of the buds on these incredible hydrangeas. We even have one that is starting to show just that hint of white. It is going to be an absolutely beautiful summer with these hydrangeas in full bloom. I'll keep you updated, my friends, on how the progress goes with these deck boxes. It was a great day. It's a beautiful day here in North Carolina. It's a great day to be a gardener. As always, we hope you have found it fun and informative, whether it is a design tip, a design kind of theory, it is a plant that you have found, it is a technique that you have found. Information is key, right? So when we are gardening, information is power, and I hope that I have empowered you today with some new nuggets of inspiration and information. As always, we so appreciate you. We'll see y'all in the next video. Bye, friends.